Hey guys, this is Ahmed Sokkar from Catharsis, and you're listening to the Channa 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 podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have very special guest today joining all the way from Egypt. We have Ahmed Sokkar of Catharsis joining the podcast. Hi Ahmed,
Hey Channa, how's it going? And thank you for
I'm
having
good.
me on the show.
Yeah. How about you? How are you doing?
Well, things have been doing, they're good. That's all I can say. I did the first sale on Bandcamp today for the band, which is
Wow.
good news in the morning.
Yeah, that's great news. So finally all your efforts are,
Are
coming to
funny.
fruition,
Yes.
So, Ahmed, can you, because this is the really the first time I'm talking to someone, a musician from Egypt. So, how is the situation? First, tell me where you are, what city, and how is the situation over there with this pandemic and everything?
Um, Let me just introduce myself briefly. My name is Ahmed Sokkar. I am from Cairo, Egypt, but currently I work in a city called Hurghada. That's on the Red Sea.
Mm.
Um, the pandemic has had it has impacted us humongously here, uh, either professionally as myself as a teacher, or on other people, since we're more of a touristic city. Okay,
Right.
so it has affected us majorly. But right now, things are getting back on track day by day. People have actually started to realize that taking the precautions and taking care of themselves and alcohol, using the alcohol, wearing masks and everything will actually lead to something positive. We just need a little patience. That's all what we need. So
Right.
basically, day by day, things are getting better and better and better. Hopefully, to the best, back to the old days.
Right. So, how is this affected as a band? Because, were you guys able to meet up or were you guys able to practice?
That's a great question. For catharsis, I would say no. That didn't stop the music going. Not at all. I mean, what we did basically, we first started off with the first three songs um, through the recording studio that we're actually doing everything with right now. It was through the internet. God bless the internet,
Right.
and that didn't stop us. I mean, I had a goal to finish my album by a specific date. Of course, things went um, off schedule for like a couple of months because of some certain situations that happened to me personally. But then things turned out to be better. I met a lot of people. I met my new band members. I met Cold Havenson from ESP, the one that actually did. He's the session guitarist that actually recorded most of the tracks with me, and we're going to be talking about that later on when it comes to the music. And I released the album, and I found the members that I'm actually with right now. And yeah, I mean, COVID had a positive feedback or a positive impact on me because I was able to actually choose the members that were, that really wanted to work not just for the music itself, but really wanted to share the passion, share everything, and they're impatient just like myself. The whole COVID situation to end so that we'll go ahead and rock the stages again.
Right. So, Ahmed, can you tell me a little bit about your childhood and like what's your earliest memory of music?
Oh, okay. Uh, my earliest days when it came to music, I was in grade 10. Okay. Um, that's when I started to expand in the music genres. I mean, Linkin Park back in my days were like, wow, you know, Linkin Park,
Right.
they're heavy and they're screaming and like, oh yeah, that's my thing. I mean, okay, before that, I was more into um, the cultural music. If I were to say it more like artists and singers. But later on, when my cousin actually got me cassettes of English bands, like yeah, just they were more into pop and R&B and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is way better than what I'm actually listening to.
Right.
When I started listening, and I don't remember I don't remember what happened exactly that got me exposed to Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit and all
Hmm.
these other bands. I was like, whoa, this is good. This is heavy. When I was in grade 10, that is when I actually started expanding into the what is rock and what is metal and what is death metal, to be more precise, because
Right.
I was raised more on death metal. If I were to say it, I started off with
Right.
death
So
themselves.
right. So what were the like earliest bands from death metal bands that you got interested of?
Dark Tranquility, Death themselves, Cannibal Corpse,
Right.
but it took me time to understand the music first. Who else? Who else? Yeah, that's it. That's what I saw. And in flames, and at the gates.
Right. So I'm trying to understand the like those days was like uh, was there a how was the people who listened to metal, was there like a social, like what's the situation over there, like was that acceptable or what?
It wasn't acceptable, bro. It wasn't at all. I was like, yo, you guys worship Satan and drink cat blood and shower with milk. It's like, yeah, top notch milk. That's what I shower every day. And you know those little cats right there, those little kittens. I'm gonna have breakfast on them. Imagine that's the ideal. I swear that was the ideology here. Of course, when people actually started to expose the music even more, um, they needed to understand. That's all what they just needed. Like understand the music. Okay.
Hmm.
Of course, stereotyping is still there. What are you listening to? I'm listening to death metal. That's what basically they listen to. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. No, I mean this is something that's beyond your understanding, and it's okay. But don't stereotype. I mean, I
Right.
love cats. I don't eat cats, just like what they say.
Right. So
And
yeah, go ahead.
and
What?
and and we were called Satan worshippers and yada yada. Oh, it was big. It was big back in my days.
Right. Compared to those days, how about now? How is
How about
how the
now?
yeah,
Now it's more open. You see, because we try to simplify the genre as much as we can. We try to make people understand that metal is not what you think it is. You see, it's
right.
it's a music genre just like any other music genre. Of course, there's some certain limits. I mean, for example, I don't listen to that much black metal because of the music itself didn't catch my ears,
Right.
and to the blasphemic lyrics and everything like that. These are the certain approaches that we do not approach. Apart from that, it's music. It's a guitar, and we use drums. We're human beings, and this is music. At the end of the
Right.
day, we try to take it step by step.
Right. So how is the metal scene in like is there a metal scene to say in Egypt? How is it?
It's in and out. It's been having its rough days these days. Um, of course, due to the COVID situation, the metal scene is kind of dead
Mm.
here in Egypt. But what we're trying to do is that, like, a couple of days ago, I don't remember, yesterday, last Monday, they actually started opening up again for the concerts. We had a heavy metal band called the Falcom, a solo heavy metal artist called Catharsis, and another rock band called Roxy. They had their show in Saia, which is basically the place where we go and play our live shows, one of the biggest venues in Egypt. They had their show there, which means that, yeah, we're going back. We're starting to open up again. Um, the energy in the show, I wasn't there personally because I'm like 300 or 400 kilometers away from Cairo right now.
Right.
Um, but the energy itself, when I've seen the behind the scenes shows and people actually recording, the energy is like, wow, we missed having metal and headbanging. The energy itself, which made me kind of pleased for a couple for just one reason. Metal is not dead yet.
Right. uh, I was kind of sort of looking in YouTube for the bands from like Egypt, and you know, I did actually
We
interview
have
a
a
couple of,
lot.
yeah.
We have a lot of bands actually,
Right.
and I'll
So,
recommend. And after the show, I'll recommend a couple for you that
oh,
are
that's
very
great.
interested in actually. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have Scarab, one of the biggest death metal bands here. We have Crescent.
Right.
Crescent are like wow on another level. We have Tafakum. These guys are heavy metal. We have Kato Hafiz, the guy that I told you about. This guy's a solo artist. This guy is he's a very friendly guy. He's one of the best, basically. Who else? We have Erasing Mankind. These guys are death metal. These guys are good, like really, really, really good. And we have a lot of other artists. I'll actually link you up with most of them. You know, like with all the pages and everything that you could actually contact them. And they're
Right.
very easy to contact. We're very easy when it comes to interviews and exposure.
Right. So I actually saw the Crescent. They did the Wacken. I think they performed in Wacken like
Yes,
2014, right?
yes.
Right. One. So I was actually kind of interviewing bands around the region. So I had Phinomi from Lebanon, and then Nerve
Mm.
Cell from Dubai. Uh,
Ah, Nerve Cell.
right. So those guys, actually, Nerve Cell was here in the Philippines twice. So they performed here
Oh,
twice as well. Yeah.
I mean, I Nerve Cell guys. I love this band. You know, the drummer and the guitarist. I used to talk to them quite a while ago. The thing is, the reason why there was this song. I really don't remember the song. The guy had this very emotional solo in the death metal band, in a technical death metal band. I'm like, I like you. I like your approach for the music itself.
Right. Right. You cannot talk about Egypt and metal without talking about Nile, right? Because Nile is the one that who puts Egypt on the map, right?
Exactly, exactly. I mean,
That's so
it's kind of
amazing.
it's very very. I'm very honored actually. The reason why the whole set list, the discography itself is talking about Egypt. I'm like, hi, I'm Egyptian. I come from the place you sing at.
Right. So Ahmed, listening to metal, and then when did you like got the idea that you want to actually create your own music? You want to start your band? When did this happen?
When I got my first acoustic guitar, that was hmm, 13 years ago. Okay,
Right.
it started off with an acoustic guitar. I started composing actually, um, um, and I started using a lot of techniques when it comes to guitar. I'm self-taught. I mean, I didn't have someone actually come and teach me. I'm not a professional guitarist, but I know how to compose. Okay,
Right.
um, so an idea through another idea through another idea through another idea. It all compiled up, and then other people came in and put their influence on in the music itself. And when these guys put their influences on the music itself, turned out to be Catharsis that you guys are listening to today.
Right.
It's a big journey for me. I mean, I have very, very old songs in the album, like A Feeling Beyond Depression. That was the first song I actually composed 11 years ago. This song, it took me 5, 6 months to actually compose fully. The reason why is that, again, I wasn't that of a professional guitarist, but I liked the intro and I wanted to keep it on the same level of emotions, the emotional spectrum that I had in the song itself. I wanted to keep it this way because
Right.
you could say I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to music. I don't want people to listen to just distorted guitars or fast drums. No, I want people to actually listen to emotions, to listen to what I have.
Right.
That's why
So
I'm very keen and very, very, very cautious when it comes to choosing the key, choosing the lyrics and the song titles accordingly with the music.
yeah, I mean, when I listen to your music, I feel that. So because it was such arranged such a great way, the album, the tracks, how it was like placed and the titles, it was like very interesting.
I mean, it took me a while to start using the reason why, I'll tell you why we placed the song list by themselves. Okay.
Right.
Every song has its own thing. Okay. Basically, the whole album talks about like me. It's a journey of remembrance. Okay. Um, Starting from the top, which is Point Perfection, Depression, the title song of the album. It starts off with like listening to the voices in my mind as they bid myself farewell, which basically is the start point of the album. What is the album itself? What is the topic of the album itself? It talks about my journey of remembrance. Is that I'm trying to move on from what I passed through depression, through my suicidal tendencies, through my suicidal attempts, through the people that I hate, everything. I'm just letting it all go, and I'm screaming my lungs out so that I'll actually move on for to a better place. And I'm trying to show this not through only heavy music, but orchestrated and well concerted music at the same time, where people you know of any genre can come and listen to my music.
Mm, right. So Ahmed, how did you settle with a band named Catharsis?
That's a great story. Uh, I was an American diploma student. Okay, we had something called the SAT exams.
Right.
I had a big vocabulary book of 1,000 words that I need to study for the SAT exams.
Right.
So what I did, me and another guitarist back then, he was one of the founding members of Catharsis. We looked through every single word in the book, and and I wanted something that you know because catharsis basically means, or to become cathartic is to get rid of something, to get rid of dark emotions and everything.
Right.
So when we were like turning pages, him and I, we looked at the same word, catharsis. And you know that meme, that's something like bing, we found it, and that's it. It's catharsis.
Right. Uh, so who is the lineup now? The lineup that did the album that you released. So who is the part of the lineup?
Actually, it was me and Cold Hevenson, the
Right.
album. The current lineup, myself, the founder and the vocalist, I have Ahmed Khalil, the new lead guitarist. Ahmed Ala, bassist. Gesser Hilal, he's our session live. He basically plays live session shows, and he's with us in the upcoming live show that we're going to be talking about in this section of the live shows.
Right.
And we're still looking for a drummer. I mean, we have drummers in our mind, but we need, we need to pick like a drummer, not anyone, not just anyone, because I'm trying to represent the music the best way, the best way possible, basically.
Right. Uh, so Ahmed, we got connected through this ESP show of Remy. So
Yes.
how did you get? I mean, you're like on the other side of the world, like you're way far. So how did you get connected with this ESP and Remy and everybody?
Cold Havenson, because of Cold
Right.
Havenson. I was just scrolling through Facebook, and I found actually Cold doing a live interview with Remy in ESP. So I just walked in. Hey, hey guys, how's it going? Cold is my hero because Cold is really my hero. I'll talk about that later. Um, so he's and Remy's like, oh, okay, you're Catharsis. You're the album. Basically, you guys are the band that Cold did everything with them. It's like, yeah, that's us. So we started to connect. Joey actually sent me the invite link. Then Remy invited me over to ESP, and yeah, we became friends ever since then. And we're part of the community now. And I'm enjoying this community, the ESP community, very, very much.
Right. Yeah. So I got connected with Remy also last year, I think during the pandemic, because Ahmed, I actually started this podcast also because of the pandemic, because I couldn't go to live shows anymore.
Mm.
So I thought doing something, and so that somehow this I got connected with all these different amazing people. I mean I think if there was no pandemic, I probably will not get connected with it. So many.
Exactly, exactly. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
exposure itself. I mean, I think whoever, on a business perspective, whoever didn't work on themselves during the pandemic on a social media level, they lost a lot, like a lot.
right. Right. So, can you tell me a little bit about the album, the Journey of Remembrance, and how it got together with working with, Code?
Of course. Okay, so let's start. Let me just introduce Catharsis, and then we'll talk about the album itself. Catharsis
Yeah.
is a death doom metal band that was officially formed in 2017 under the name Catharsis. Um, I had a lot of members coming in and out until the stable lineup that I have with me right now. Um, mm, Basically, I started composing a Journey of Remembrance way before Catharsis, way before it was actually called Catharsis, way before my plans for having an album and everything. A Journey of Remembrance basically talks about my own personal experience and a lot of factors that have affected my life, either through a lover, either through my family, either through my own dark thoughts and dark emotions that I have. And I talk about very crucial topics and very crucial situations in life that uh, have affected me personally. But how? The album is 8 tracks. Okay, it starts off with something called Point Perfection and ends with a Point Perfection. Point Perfection Depression is the start of where I'm actually saying I'm listen to what I have in my mind. listen to all the thoughts, listen to everything that I have in my mind. It starts off with point, perfection, depression, and then I am suicide. I am suicide is actually the title song itself is influenced by one of the Batman comics that I've read. It's called We Are Suicide. I don't remember the title. The title. The the title itself of the comic, but it was actually influenced by the comic itself. And I am suicide is when I start to actually let people listen to the voices. The song is divided into two parts. The first part, um, it's more like the voices that are talking. The second part is where I start I do the shouting and screaming and everything, and I start to actually talk about my mother, my father, a lover, basically. And these are this is when people need to understand, like, you know, this is me. These are my thoughts, and I am suicide. The phase after I am suicide is beyond imagination. Beyond imagination it's more of an artistic way to show love and appreciation for someone that is gone. Uh, this is basically beyond imagination. It has nothing deep on except this part specifically.
Right.
And then 1.11.11. It's a binary code for a name for someone that I used to for someone that I still share a huge uh, a huge portion of my love to. This song is specifically and directly made for that person who just disappeared out of my life, and wanting that person to actually to come back. Basically, it's like, this is your song. And if we put, and in the name itself, if we put the correct amount of zeros next to the ones, it will translate into a four-letter name.
Right.
And then what do we have next? It's Iegam. Iegam is actually one of my oldest tracks. It's more of a heavy track. I wanted something like seriously heavy. Okay. Again, the song talks about someone.
Right.
Uh, but I think Iegam is considered one of the heaviest songs in the album itself. This is when I started to experiment. Uh, like, you know what? Let's go heavy, like seriously heavy, not like death metal heavy and fast. No, heavy. Then Let Us Rest in Peace. Let Us Rest in Peace is again one of the oldest songs that I've actually composed in Catharsis. Um, and we have a wonderful guest with us in the song. His name is Jeffrey Dickinson. He is he's a very talented vocalist, and he is a radio DJ as well in modern spit heavy metal. He's amazing. His vocal range is he's very dedicated to heavy metal as well, to metal basically.
Right.
Um, Let Us Rest in Peace is that, you know, you could say the turn point of the album. The first five songs is when I started talking about everything that has affected my life. Let Us Rest in Peace is like when I'm done. Just let me rest in peace. Just let us rest in peace. That's it. Then comes a feeling beyond depression. A feeling beyond depression is when I actually, you know, start wishing for my like I just wishing for my demise, and that's it. I'm done.
Right.
And finally, my best song in the album. just point perfection, Requiem. And the reason why it's one of my best is that um, the name itself, Requiem, I love the name, the word itself, Requiem. Um, it shares a very sentimental part in me where I actually, if we were to say it in the topic of the album, this is me dying. I'm dead. When I wake up in the song, the first thing that comes to my mind is that has this chaos finally come to an end? Am I alive or am I dead? So
Right.
all the chaos, everything that was going through here, it's gone. I'm dead. And the reason why is that there's part of the song itself where it says, "Remember me for who I am, not of whom I've become, nor of what I've become.
Mm.
Dirge in shame, lament in pain, and suffer as I have suffered." Uh, this is just a clear message for both ways. For the people that actually do care and love about me, it's just remember me for who I am, not because of the certain circumstances that made me become the negative person that I one day was. And to the people that I actually, you know, that were the reason behind my suffering, it's like dirge in shame and lament and pain and suffer as I have suffered. That I'm not wishing them any harm, but I wish that you would really know how it feels to suffer, not out of hate, not out of despite. No, it's just maybe one day they'll actually learn and understand and value the people that are out of this life, that left life.
Right. So actually, the first two songs, Perfect Depression and I'm Suicide, I really felt when I was listening it that those two really got my notice when I was listening to that, because especially during the early pandemic, I was going through the same sort of experience, because suddenly the world closed down and I'm stuck in the room. I couldn't go anywhere, and so it's yeah, I went through that sort of depression. A lot of people have these problems and these mental struggles that I think
Exactly.
the society is not really talking about them, right? They think, okay, let's lock down everybody and things will be okay. But sometimes that's really people are struggling with that. Like I felt that the early pandemic, I really felt that struggle. So
Exactly.
it's and Ahmed, I really appreciate the how you explain all these tracks and like your story through the songs. It's like your uh, I think that's why that as soon as I was introduced to the album, I really, I listened to all the 8 tracks. So it's like that's probably it, because so much you have put so much personal passion into that, right? So like that this story and essence, I really appreciate that you're doing that.
It's a journey. That's all what I could say. It's a journey.
Right. Right. So Ahmed, you mentioned that you're planning some live shows with the new lineup. So tell me about it, and also tell me a little bit about you know putting up a metal show in country like Egypt. What's the challenges, and you know,
Of course, yeah. Okay, for the live show, we have we've been trying to set up something very very soon, most probably in September, like at the end of August, September, maybe even October. Um, of course, again, we're not totally open. We're partially open. Okay, we've been having gigs and shows and everything, but yet again, what we're trying to do is that we're trying to present Catharsis in a way that we're picture perfect. So for the live shows, as I said, it's going to be like at the end of August, September, and then this area. Um, we're going to feature actually one of like Egypt's uh, biggest bands. Or we're actually, what we're thinking of is that we're trying to make it more of a metal night, where we could actually like have two, three bands having one show, so that the dosage itself of the music is like, you know what, here's a lot of metal for you guys tonight. So that's what we're planning to do. I'm trying to, we're trying to make the metal scene come back again.
Right. So I noticed that you put your album in YouTube, and you have your first song. I think still it's in Spotify, right? And
We
the whole
have
album.
three songs on Spotify. We're gonna release the whole album on Spotify very soon. We have everything on Bandcamp. I'll send you the link for the new Bandcamp, in which, if you guys want to support the album's there, you could go ahead and buy the album. Um, again, Spotify. We just still have only three tracks. We're gonna upload the whole album on Spotify, so that it's a lot easier than Bandcamp.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and that's it, I guess.
Right. Um, how about, are you do you have new songs that you plan to release later on? You're
Yes,
working on new songs?
yes, yes. Me and the session guitarist, we have like one last song that isn't actually included in the album. Okay, it's something. It was an idea that I had, um, that I really wanted to share. Where I actually, when I want to make a ballad, a doom death ballad song. It's an experimental song where I do more cleans than brutal vocals.
Right. Right. So, Ahmed, so you get support from all this. Now you actually have a lot of international fans, like people who
And
discovered
I
you.
never, yes, yes, and that was something I never thought that would happen.
Right.
I mean, people actually, the people liking the page from Sweden, from Singapore, oh, from California, from South Africa. I'm like, yo, dude, this is good. I mean,
Yeah.
I never thought that I'd have that much exposure for Catharsis, and I'm actually happy. I'm really, really happy to have that exposure.
Right. You should get more likes from South Africa, because this podcast is so famous in South Africa. I don't know why. So it's
Okay.
like, so whenever I post something,
Hey,
I
South Africa.
yeah. So a lot of people are listening to this podcast from South Africa.
I mean, like, I'm in North Africa. It's like, hi, we're only, what, 12,000 kilometers away from each other.
Right. Have you did you know that there's a lot of like metal rock artists in the African continent, like in Botswana and Angola and all these places? There's amazing metal festivals, blues festivals happening.
No, I never thought that. Although there's this page called African Metal, um, where actually, I keep on just checking out and checking out like African metal news and stuff like that. But they're very slow in responding, so that's why I totally disregarded the page itself. But um, but yeah, I mean, I know Botswana, they have one of like Africa's biggest death metal bands. I need to remember the name. I just don't remember it. It's not on my mind right now.
Right.
South Africa. The reason why South Africa, I know a lot of bands in South Africa, is that actually one of the bands called Anarchy here in Egypt. They had a tour in South Africa,
Right.
in Johannesburg and a lot of other places. What else? What else? Black Dahlia Murder played in South Africa. Black Dahlia Murder is one of like my like they're my one of my best death metal bands, melodic death metal bands ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. I know Chad has a death metal band as well, which I happened to listen to on YouTube while I was actually playing games. Um, that's all what I know about the African scene.
Right. I actually saw Black Dahlia Murder they twice, and I actually have a picture with
Dude,
them.
dude, come on.
Yeah, they were so fun. First time they played with Lamb of God, they opened for Lamb of God. I
Oh,
think it
so
was
you saw Lamb of God and Black Dahlia Murder.
yeah, because Lamb of God is like
Yeah.
one of my favorite bands. So I try to see them as much as possible. I think I saw them already 4 times. Lamb of God.
Mm. Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more. Of course. What else, Chana? What else?
Yeah,
I mean,
because
but
you
what if
know,
we have? Mm,
no, I was just saying, I would because for the last 20 years, the only consistent thing I've been doing is going to concerts. So I went to like so many concerts. I met so many artists, and that's been my life. So
yeah. I mean, here we've had bands come in and out. I mean, we had Soul of the Sun. We had Nightmare from France. We had wow, we've had a lot of bands. The Russian band. What are they called? The death metal grindcore band. What were they called?
I don't
God Almighty, I can't. I totally forgot the name.
right.
It starts with an O. Anyways, I'll remember the name and I'll tell you. What else? Who else? Who else? Um, Nether Solid. Nether Solid is that if you've heard about the project about Nether Solid is project um, about Nether Solid's project, he actually brings in like famous musicians like Attila from Mayhem. I don't remember the drummer from Obscura and Necrophagist. Um, what he does is that he brings in like international guitarists and session drummers, and he goes and tours all around the world. Letter Sobit was actually here as well. He's Egyptian as well, so that's why it's actually easy for him to come in.
Right.
Yeah, that's the we've had bands in and out of the in and out of Egypt.
Right. So Ahmed, what's your message to the viewers of this podcast and also people who support you with your music?
Apart from the podcasts themselves, I try to expose the music as much as I can. I'm trying to make it more simple. I'm trying to make it more easier and everything. Um, Basically, what I do is that I try to go on more podcasts, talk about the music, talk about everything. Um, what will make us even more exposed is just the live shows and everything. I really, 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 am working hard for the live shows to introduce as well the new members. Okay. Bandcamp, everything is on Bandcamp right now. And I prefer Bandcamp. Like, if you guys want to support the band, go ahead on Bandcamp. I'll send you the new link for the you have I guess you have
Yeah.
the new Bandcamp page. It has the whole album. You can support us by buying the album or listening to the album. That's it.
Right. Uh, Anybody you want to shout out to, Ahmed?
A lot of people that I need to shout out, like a lot of people. First of all, Silver Steel Studios. Silver Steel Studios, guys. Affordable prices, best mixing and mastering. I'm not going to talk about anything. Just listen to the quality of my music, of the band itself. This guy, I mean, yes, he's the owner of Silver Steel Studios. He's a very patient, a very nice guy, someone that understands how to mix and master the genre itself. Because he himself is a guitarist, and he wants to show people and people to actually, mix and master the music professionally with affordable prices. Cold, Cold is my buddy. I mean, literally, this guy is one of the best guitarists, session guitarists that you'll ever deal with. One of the best musicians. The guy actually changed a lot of things in Catharsis. A lot of things in Catharsis. Um, he, guys, it's called Havenson. He's my hero, if I were to say correctly.
Right.
ESP, of course, your show and your podcast, and to the members, to the people that actually helped me in the album, Mustafa Izzuddin, the guy is one of the reasons why I actually continued. Previous members like Ismail Morsi, Amina, we have Ismail Morsi, Yahya, Amina. Amina is actually the female vocalist in Beyond Imagination. If you guys want to listen to it on Bandcamp, she's a sensational vocalist. Who else? Who else? Yusuf as well. He was the bassist in the first 3 songs that we released. Who else? Who else? Who else? I guess that's it for now.
Yeah. Anyway, you're going to forget anybody. Sometimes you will forget, right? So
Exactly. It's like I want to shout out to this, and then when you come on the show, I'm like, who again?
so Ahmed, so thanks for joining this. I really enjoy talking to you, and nice to like see you here, and then get connected with somebody from that region, and see how strong metal is on that. Because people outside would think like, oh, Egypt, Middle East, and those places, so there's no metal, but there is, right? People are listening
A
to this
lot.
music, so passionate fans. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I really enjoy talking to you. And so lastly, tell everybody, so what's the Bandcamp, how they can search you in Bandcamp? Just Catharsis band?
Eh, no, I'll send you the link and I'll tell you everything. Okay.
Okay.
It's because there's a new link with everything on it. Um, that's it. I mean,
Right.
people can search through Catharsis Egypt, Catharsis Egypt, or through one of the songs itself. And I'll send you the link as well to search through Bandcamp as well.
Right. We will put this in the description when we publish the video. Yeah.
Okay.
So Ahmed, thanks for joining. Have a great day ahead.
You too, Channa. You too. And thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you.